Good morning and welcome back. Shit. Exactly, the off-grid garage in sunny hot Australia again. Guys, thank you so much for all your comments under my last video again about the final design of our PowerWall ? And we need to question this quite a lot. It crossed my mind last night when I was lying in bed. I said, well, this is not going to work because we don't have any solar isolators in here. We only have the fuses in the combiner boxes. But in case of an emergency, you don't want to open these combiner boxes and turn off all these single fuses one after another, right? We could have 10 in here, 10, so 40 single fuses you have to isolate then. That's ridiculous, right? We have to have a main location here on the PowerWall where we can easily disconnect the solar input. If you remember the old installation here in the electrical cabinet, we had these circuit breakers up here on the DIN rail mounted, right? And this disconnected our east and west roof before they actually hit the solar charge controllers. And then we had DC fusing again, or isolators again, at the output of the solar charge controllers. So we could completely isolate them. And this was a quick flick of the switch here to disconnect the whole east roof. Because you don't want to grab a ladder and go up there and disconnect all the single fuses, right? This is for safety and maintenance purposes, okay? You know, if you do maintenance, you plan this ahead. You have your ladder here and then you disconnect one string you're going to work on. Imagine you've got your battery shelf here and there's smoke coming out of it, or it smells burned or something. You want to quickly disconnect everything, right? We have our main circuit breaker here which disconnects all our batteries at once. And you want to have something here in this area as well where you can quickly disconnect all your incoming power. This is one of the main key safety features of such a build, to disconnect your incoming power. So this is not going to work. Well, and also having all the combiner boxes here in one row doesn't make sense either, because this is the purpose of a combiner box. It combines your solar where your solar is, and then only two cables, positive, negative, going from there to your installation. When we do the other installations, then we've got solar here on the carport and solar on the shed. I mean, you cannot expect that I run all these string cables separately from there over here and then have them in the combiner box inside the garage. That doesn't make sense. The combiner box is always where the panels are, and then from there the main supply cable goes to your distribution, to your solar charge controllers. Okay, so we are going back to the original design. Have the solar charge controllers on the left hand side on the first panel here. It is only because we've got the solar panels right above here on this side of the roof that we have a combiner box here. But this doesn't mean all the other combiner boxes need to be here as well. No combiner box, no combiner box. This one goes away as well. So we happen to have one combiner box here because it's the closest point to all the panels on the roof. Totally fine. Battery shelf ends here. Main switch will be here. So it would be good to have our solar isolators somewhere over here handy. Next to the main switch. Cluck, turn them all off, turn off the main switch, done. This would be the shutdown procedure for the whole system then. I had a look online for motorized shunt trips or something for circuit breakers, because we have the auxiliary switch there. You can see these cables in the main switch, which could trigger something somewhere. And I was thinking of if we can have a motorized shunt trip which turns off all our incoming solar when I turn off the main switch. Well, this would kill two birds with one stone then. But unfortunately there isn't any shunt trip which is motorized or remotely controlled or something for generic DC breakers. They're all coming for their specific applications, and you need to have these specific circuit breakers, but they are not DC breakers. They are all AC breakers, obviously. So this is not going to work. It needs to be a manual disconnect of our incoming solar. Label here. So in this case, we need to have another board here somewhere where we have our DC solar disconnects. Yeah, since I had the thought about the solar disconnect last night, I couldn't really sleep well. I always thought about possible solutions, and because now you've got the cables running back and forward all the time, and it's not ideal, of course. But I can certainly see the need and the advantage and the safety of such a solar disconnect. You don't want to click all these little fuses to disconnect your solar. I'll do some more garden work now and think about a possible solution for our final design, the final design. Yeah, I also had suggestions to have the 3 inverters here in one row and have the AC distribution down here somewhere. Yeah, could be a possible solution as well. I mean, we can have the smaller inverter here on the 500 millimeter panel. We've got a 600 meter panel, 600 meter for 2 multis, and the single 3 kilowatt inverter over there, and then have a AC distribution like this one here down here somewhere. Could be even our electrical cabinet we have left over now, right? This could be our AC installation. I don't like if there are so many possibilities. It's so hard to make a decision, really. Here comes the big question. To ferrule or not to ferrule? These multi-strained cables here, they have really fine cores. And I guess it comes always down to where you want to screw them in. If you have a circuit breaker or something, they usually have like a chamber. See, it's like a clamp which is coming up, and this provides a very good grip to the cable and to the actual contact here at the top. See the copper part there? This is the actual contact. And this mechanic only clamps the cable against the contact. So you can use a bare cable here, strip off the insulation, and feed this into the terminal directly. You don't need a ferrule for these clamp contacts. But here on the other side, if you want to put one of these cables into a screw terminal, like these ones here, for example, they don't have any mechanics. See, there's the bare screw coming down, and the screw actually is pushing into your cable. If you have these fine stranded cables here, this will kill it. So the force of the screw coming down here will potentially cut off some of your strands here, and therefore you have a smaller diameter of cable. In cases of using these screw terminals here, you always have to ferrule these cables. So the ferrule in this case will protect your fine strands inside your cable from the damage of the screw. And I'm a big fan of ferrules, so I always ferrule these cables here. They're always getting a proper termination. Even if I use these normal circuit breakers, I always use a ferrule. Always. Fine stranded cables, I always ferrule. And I'm using this ratchet crimper here from AliExpress for $25 or so. You can actually replace the claw here at the front to suit different cables. And you can see this is a 10, 16, 25, 35 millimeter claw in here. And it crimps your cable in a rectangular shape. They actually will fit perfectly into this rectangle clamps here of circuit breakers, for example, but not as good as in these round ones here. See, even after crimping, they fit perfectly into the round hole of this bus bar here. And that's exactly where we need it for. And do not ever have the idea to solder your cable before you put it into one of these terminals here, because then you have only contact at the top to the actual terminal, because then you have a solid, stiff, round cable, and it will touch the actual contact of your circuit breaker only at the top. And this could cause a lot of heat because of the very limited contact area then. Never ever solder these stranded cables. And people are always asking why I use this orange cable and not red and black. Well, these kind of cables, they're only available in orange or in black. And you usually use only a heat shrink at the end to color code and identify them. I've never seen these cables in red actually. This is more like automotive grade cable then. But these ones are double insulated single core industrial cables. So I have now connected our combiner box here at the top of the garage for the east roof, and I've connected our 16mm cable now, which will go into a little conduit here, and then we will have trunking all the way down here and a trunking all the way up here, and the cable will come out of the trunk directly into the fuse box down here, and this will be then our circuit breaker to turn off the whole east roof all at once. And this is exactly as we had it before, right? In the electrical cabinet we had a circuit breaker at the top for the incoming solar, then the solar charge controller, and then another breaker at the output of the solar charge controller. And this will be no difference here. And at the moment we will have only east roof and west roof in here, but we can have up to 4 double circuit breaker isolators in this box here. Also, I have run out of red heat shrink. Okay, we have now successfully connected our first solar charge controller without any trunking. That looks terrible, right? Nah, just leave it as it is. It works, it's fine. I probably can buy another aluminium sheet from here which covers the whole lot here, so you can't see anything behind this wall. It will be just a plank aluminium wall here. Then we can leave the cabling as it is. So much easier. Okay, so apparently this controller will be our east roof. And well, the only thing we need to do now is connect our battery, right? Connect the battery. So what I will do here as well, I will pre-charge the capacitors of the solar charge controllers, because usually it gives a big spark when you connect the charge controller as well. And I press the button now and you can see the lights there flickering then when it turns on. See there? Then we turn on the battery. Here it is. We are officially... Are we on? Are we on? We are on. It's starting up. Yeah, we've got the shunt and the smart solar. Okay, default pin is 6 zeros. And now here are the updates. Okay, see you later. This may take a while. Okay, so while the controller is doing an update, I just want to check the cabling again. So this is our negative here. Going to our negative of the breaker. Negative up here. Going all the way to the negative bus bar up there. Positive, this cable here going to the positive of the circuit breaker, and here the positive going to the positive here. It all seems to be fine. So I would just put 2 fuses in there for 1 string, turn this one on and see if we have voltage here. So many users have asked what kind of settings I have set in my charge controllers here for these batteries.
and we can go through it. So usually in a Victron charge controller, I choose the lithium iron phosphate preset battery profile, and this gives you already a good start values. So I turn on the expert mode here, and then the absorption voltage is usually 56.8, which I think is too high. So I usually set this one 55.2, and the float voltage will be 53.6. So this is 3.45 volts per cell and 3.35 for float. So this makes sure the battery gets fully charged, and I usually absorb for only half an hour, and this is enough for the balancer of the BMS to kick in and balance the cells with a higher voltage. So 30 minutes. Rebulk, this is when a new cycle starts. So basically it tells you here in the text already. So if the battery voltage goes down to 53 volts for a minute, it will start a new cycle and then starts the bulk again if you're in float already. So this is the settings I have: 55.2, 53.6, 0.6, and the absorption is fixed for 30 minutes, and I don't use the tail current here because I want to use the 30 minutes to give the BMS time to balance, and everything else is turned off or not active anyway. Temperature compensation is already disabled. This is all being done by pre-selecting the lithium iron phosphate profile. As soon as you change one of the parameters, it will actually say user defined in here, which is 70 amps. That's nice, eh? That is 70 amps into the battery then for one controller, 48 volts. Yeah, so this is all good. This controller has a lot more like a relay output which we can program. I don't know. The only thing I do as well is here the VE Smart Network. Join existing. The off-grid garage is already there. Network configuration. And this connects the charge controller with the smart shunt now. See, they are in a network now, and they talk to each other. So the smart shunt actually measures the voltage far better than the solar charge controller because it's close to the battery and gives all the information to the charge controllers. If you have more than one charge controller, you link them all together in this network. And if you change the settings in one charge controller, the other one will follow. So one is always the master and the other ones are the slaves. And even they don't show the change parameters in their settings, they will just do what the mother says. Which is correct, right? This is what you should do. And here it says also uses external battery voltage sense from smart shunt. See, they're already communicating now. And this is how it should be then. Okay, the only thing we want to do is go into product info and edit the name of it, because this is now our east roof. Okay, so this is the new east roof. I can't remember how many kilowatt hours we have done in the old charge controllers, but as soon as we turn them on, I will read all this information back. Insane, so much power from 1 year from used solar panels. You also should change your pin code, of course, of your Bluetooth from 6x0 to something you know, because, well, everyone can just connect via a Bluetooth and the app, which is for free to download, to your solar charge controllers and can change the settings and parameters, can potentially cause harm to your battery or turn off your lights. So definitely change the pin code from 6x0 to something only you know, and don't forget it. Okay, 0 voltage over here. Okay, I think it is time, hey? It's time to grab 2 of these. And, well, we should actually close the enclosure, because when I push these fuses in, these 2 bus bars will be live up here.
So let me check the cables again. Yeah, okay, let's put the cover on first. By the way, there's no voltage on these fuses here. If you pull them out, they are completely isolated. All right, let's push the first one back in. No bang, no smoke, nothing. Okay, so we should measure the 90 volts or something here on these two terminals now. There we go, 90.7 volts. Perfect. And there's nothing on this side here. Nah. 16 volts, millivolts. Okay, this is just capacitive voltage. Okay, and now you can already see what this circuit breaker is for, you know. We can isolate single strings up there, but there's no current going through to the solar charge controller. So in case of a fault on the roof or something, I can isolate single strings there completely, positive, negative, can work on them on the roof without having to worry about anything else, and can leave all the other strings back connected. And then if everything is ready, we just push this one in here, and hopefully we will have a charge. Okay, let's measure here again. Yeah, 67 only, so that means, oh, here we go, 67 volts, so it means we are already in MPPT and it is charging. Let's see the amps. 6 amps we are getting. Nice. Yeah, it is 330 already, and we've got 178 watts from one string. Remember, this is only one string now. So 230. Okay, let's take this one away again and push in the other string. Let's see if we get 230 as well. Well, the weather is changing. The sun is changing all the time now on the roof. There are clouds. So we're getting a similar result with this string as well here. And let me push the other one in, the third one, and we check again. Okay, string number 3. Yeah, there it is coming in. 140 only. 2 amps from solar makes 2.6 into the battery, because we were doing DC conversion here from 87 volts down to 52 volts. Now the sun is coming back. Let's see how much we get. Maybe not. Maybe there's already shading on this side. Okay, let's push them all in at once. There we go. All 3 strings are in. Now it's looking for the new MPPT. And there we go. We are charging with 8.7 amps into the battery. 500 watts in the afternoon. Cloudy weather. Okay, so I guess there's only one more thing to do, which is very essential. Guys, we are live again. We are live. Oh, we are on 40% state of charge. That is insane. We left with 21 and now we are on charge from the east roof. We are officially charging and are back live again. Man, it's not the off-grid garage. At least we are online, the online garage. It's the off-grid online garage now again. And look at this mush here and cables. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Well, at least we are up and running and charging. It is insane. See, and now in case of an emergency or something, or you want to shut down your solar quickly, I don't need to go up there and flick all these single fuses or grab a wobbly ladder and go up there and disconnect all the fuses. I'll just go in here and beep, done. There's no power anymore to the system. All the incoming power of this roof now is completely disconnected, right?
Here, it says it here, 0 watts coming in, nothing anymore.
And I totally missed this fuse box yesterday in my design. I had this box planned in here on the floor when I did the initial design and had the first thoughts about everything. One of the switchboards down there was including the breakers for our solar turn off, emergency shutdown, whatever. So this is how it should be now. Man, what a weekend. And guess what? There is no spat. Now, I'll show you. There's no spat, no Oettinger anymore. All gone. Oh, nice. First spat over the weekend. I said it many times, there will be no alcohol during the weekend. I will totally focus on this project here to get it to this stage. And I told you I want to be charging on Sunday afternoon again, which is right now. So guys, we made it. Thank you so much for all your comments, all your great ideas, suggestions. Everything you are doing here on the channel is fantastic. And this is all a combined work of your amazing minds and my little hands here. Man, yesterday when we did the initial design, I thought we are not going to make it. There were so many unknown things and I said, nah, it's not going to work. This is not working, this is not working. Another design is not working. And gladly this morning, clear mind, after a good night's sleep, I had this all in my mind, and we've done it. We are charging. I just received an email. Thank you so much, Steve from Livington in Texas, United States, for your generous donation. I probably can buy a new beer now. Are you sure you didn't make a mistake and put the comma in the wrong position? Well, I'll send you an email later. Thank you so much for your overall insane generous donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay guys, I think this is it for PowerWall Sunday. For the PowerWall weekend, 3.5 days of work here. I think we've got a clear concept now where the journey leads us to. What a community and combined effort to get this up and running again. Thank you so much for all your comments again, guys. And I guess I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, guys, stay charged and safe. And as always, thank you so much for your support again here. Especially thank you, Steve. You're a crazy man. And thanks again, guys. See you then. Bye-bye.